no red dot.
Hit the red dot. And
Now we're on.
it's on.
Got my sweater. Very nice. Nikon. Yeah.
Fanboy.
Yeah, fanboys.
Fanboy.
Fanboys. I don't know anything that says Fuji except my camera.
This would be what's known as a knockoff Amazon special. I do have
At least it's not Nikon or something like that.
Nyko. I want to make sure this sounds
Legit.
phenomenal. Nobody wants to hear me breathing. Be like, come on, fat boy. That should work. That should work. That should work. That should work. I could be in here radio DJing it up, but I think that'll be just fine.
Yep. I think it'll get what we need across. So.
Yeah, you sound way better than I do. I think it's that voice. Jason's got that voice.
I got that voice. I don't know about that, but
So we have 3 things to touch on today.
if we don't forget them all by the time we get to them.
Yeah. So, cheers. We're into the wine tonight. Jason's a wine guy, and so I was picking up groceries, and I called him, and I said, hey, I'm going to pick up something.
Uh-huh.
And then he brought this.
So we switched to the one that I brought.
We're sticking to that. But, so we want to talk about an award that we won.
Mm-hmm.
Well, technically, I won it, but I couldn't have done it without you. We want to talk about our wedding on Saturday and our DJ, which was Alex from Noda.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our last wedding together this year.
Yeah.
On the books, anyway.
On the books, anyway, unless something else comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Because I think I've got one wedding yet
more.
this year, and you got 2 more.
I have 2 more. And then if we don't forget the third thing.
The gala.
The gala. That's in 2 weeks.
Yes, I believe so.
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks from Saturday.
Yeah, I'd have to check the double.
Yeah, it was
check the
November
date.
12th, the Northwest Iowa Law Enforcement.
Yep. No, second annual.
Gala.
Second
Second
annual.
annual. There you
Yep. Yep. I helped out with that last year as well. I shot some photos for them, and I seen that they were doing that, and so I sent a message to Justin. I'd done his family photos before, and I seen that was coming up, and he was going to check with me anyway. And I seen when he posted it again this year, I'm like, let's do it again.
Right.
So
Cool. Well, I am going to set an alarm. That way we can reset that camera right there at 8:45 because,
till you get that next one.
till I get the next one, because these 2 cameras will run
continuous
basically,
especially
until
now that they're plugged in, and because that one time we started losing them because batteries started dying and everything else, and
yeah, but
we weren't planning on talking for as long as what
but
we
we
had.
were also shooting we were shooting 4K, which is completely unnecessary for this, so we dumbed it down to 1080 just for storage space. But
Nobody needs to see us in 4K.
nobody needs you'll be checking out my nostrils. But anyway, I am Tim.
I am Jason.
And this is Exposed. Welcome, everybody. It is November. My God.
October.
I'm like so done with October already.
25th.
I'm ready to check out. I don't know how many.
See, I
sessions we
can't
have.
believe we're already into October. It
It's
just seems
almost
wild
over.
to me. And yeah, it's almost over. It's Halloween, weekend this weekend?
Yeah, most places are still having Halloween on the 31st. I figured there'd be a lot more Saturdays. I remember when the kids were little, I used to get all amped up. I'm like, why can't we have Halloween on whatever night it is? Now I'm like, just give
do it
them
on-
candy, just
right.
whenever, whatever, right? Because my youngest is 16, so
Yeah, I've never really handed out much candy or anything like that. And the one year I was in the house and a kid just came walking right in my house and you got any candy?
no, you want a beer?
I didn't even have beer, so I
Yeah.
think I had Mountain Dew in the house and that was about it. But
So Melanie's grandma used to come to the house and sit when we took the kids, and Marvel would, she would make a list. She'd check every one of them off, however many kids. And I think the most we ever had was 42 kids, because we're on a side street. We're not on a main street.
But even for small town Iowa, that's still a decent number.
If we get 8, now we're doing pretty good, because most parents in this, so you go back, because Kylie's 22, so almost 20 years. You go back almost 20 years when the kids used to all walk and parents didn't drive them around. We would get more kids. Now, everybody's cruising around in their minivans, and letting the kids in and out. So it has kind of changed the dynamic.
Right.
I remember Addison's last big haul, which has been a few years ago, and she hit every house that she could find in town.
Right.
I can't remember how many pounds of candy. She came home, unloaded, and went back. Like she did the south half to Main Street, came home, unloaded, and then went back and hit the whole north half of Main Street.
See, I remember that when we were kids too, and you know, you just went out and tried to get as much candy as possible, and you weren't out with the parents, and you know, you were trying to hit every house in town. If there was a light on, you were grabbing candy.
Yeah. That's for sure. I know. Most of my stuff was when we were in Phoenix, when I lived in Phoenix. So that was always the goal. But I think Addison takes the cake on the amount of candy. But I know last year she went out with her friends. They all dressed up like Dr. Phil.
Oh,
they had
that's
bald
hilarious.
caps and suits and everything on. I still think they went trick or treating for candy. And they were 15, but why not, right?
I would still hand them out candy if I was handing out candy. So
right, yeah, for sure. But well, let's talk about the gala. Now I've never been there.
Okay.
And I know you have, but tell me a little bit about that.
Now I've never showed up for the meal or anything like that. Which all the tables have already. I mean, they sell out so quick. So what they're doing is they're raising money, for scholarships, basically for kids that want to go into law enforcement to help pay for academy and stuff like that. From my understanding, that's, you know, what the money's all going towards. So then I can't remember who catered it last year, and I'm sure they're still catering it this year again. But they have meal catered in, and you know, people buy out X amount for a table. But them all sold out. But then last year they had Fonda Flyers played. This year Kirkhart's playing.
Yep.
And so, you know, we both know Kirkhart very well. We've both shot images for him and spent some time with him. So it's just going to basically be a night, you know, around friends and doing what we enjoy doing while they do what they enjoy doing, and all going for a great cause. I think door admission, was $10.
Yeah, I think that's what Justin said the other night.
Yep. So for anybody, you know, attending after the dinner thing, I will have a booth, I'm sure set up just like last year. I'll throw up two 60 watt LED lamps. That way they're not on a flash. That way, if anybody wants to walk up, use a cell phone or anything like that, you know, they've got nice lighting going on, catch lights. So, I mean, it'll be professional lighting, but then we'll also be there, you know, grabbing some pictures if they want. So, they get a nice professional picture, you know, dressed up, you know, prom dress style, suit, tux, whatever.
Do I have to dress up?
You don't have to. But
I might have one or two sets of decent clothes. The video light is a good idea. We did that at a wedding. That was in June.
Yes, we did.
Because they did a backdrop, and they put our names.
They put
on
our names on it. Yeah, I was really impressed with that too.
And so we set up a couple. I think we had a couple 60s or 150s up there. We could bring that 300. I just got a 300 watt video light today.
Yeah.
So I'm in the living room, and FedEx shows up from P&H, and I'm like, "Ooh, it's here!" And I immediately light it up. Have no idea how to run it. It's in lightning mode, you know, and so it's flashing all over. She's like, "Will you stop that?" I'm like, "I have to get the book out to figure out how to run it."
And 300 watts is a bright light.
And of course we had the dish on, so there was no, you know, and that's a lot of light. And because my other two Godox ones, or Godox, or however the hell they say it, so those are only 150s, and they work okay for the studio. I actually like using them. I started using the video lights just for newborns,
right? Yep.
The few newborns that we do, and we started using those mainly so there wasn't like the jarring effect of a flash.
Yep.
And then I just kind of liked it. Right now, I can't shoot f9, f11.
Right.
You know,
especially at a 60 watt light,
you know,
you're just not going to get that.
Even the
power out of it.
150s are just not, unless you're using a dish.
Okay.
So
by the time you put any type of modifier on there where you're losing a stop of light, stop and a half light,
I'm anxious to put the lantern on it, because ideally that's what I want to do. And I think So if we go up to Chris's on Thursday,
Mhm.
um, I'm going to. Well, he's got C stands.
Right. Yeah, we'll be
So
recording another episode
yeah,
yet this
yeah.
week. So
So my plan is to bring that 300 with my lantern,
mhm.
and we can just boom it kind of over top of us,
Yep.
and that way we have just a nice light that should
Mhm.
hit all our faces.
Yep.
But I know the gala. So you're doing the photos.
Yep. I'll do I'll do, couples, groups, whatever. Um, I usually set up, I'll probably set up the same thing that I did last year. I'll have 2 7-foot umbrellas, which, are plenty overkill.
That might be overkill.
But, it's the smallest umbrellas I have, and it gives the nice, beautiful, soft light.
Right.
And so, everybody is really well lit. I mean, you take a cell phone photo, it's
Oh, they
gonna
look good. Like I
really
have some
good.
smaller umbrellas if you want, or you can use my lanterns too. But because I know you're gonna do photos,
Mhm.
and then I, after talking to Justin the other night, I'm gonna come in and we're gonna do a highlight film.
Yep.
So just a 2 to 3 minute kind of run through of the events.
Mhm.
So I know the other night, that was last Thursday, wasn't it? That we got together in Newell.
Sounds right. My days run into each other so much anymore that I can't keep track.
I'm just
So-
trying to act like I know what I'm talking about. So last Thursday, Jason and I got together in Newell with Justin Lyman, and he was doing photos with fire department and
Yep.
the police department. And then by the time I got there, fire department stuff was pretty much done. And you had set up some shots
Mhm.
with a camera mount on Justin's car,
Mhm.
which turned out really cool.
Yeah. And that's what
that
a lot
one shot was like amazing.
what a lot of people don't understand. What we actually did there is we used and I should have brought the mount with me, but we used a suction cup mount. There's 2 suction cup mounts. We planted the mount on the hood, and then we attached the camera then to that suction cup mount, and then that was triggered with a Godox trigger to trigger a V1, which is a flash that's inside the car. So he was
Stuffed in the
illuminated,
door.
stuffed in the door panel of the car, and because I was trying to figure out, where we could stuff this, and
Right.
because he had, all the stuff that he's got in his car anyway,
Right.
which took up some space. So I was able to get, one stuffed into the door panel, and luckily I remembered at the end of the night. I'm like, ooh, I can't forget where that went.
Right.
And but then what I did was set up basically time lapse type of a thing.
Yeah.
Got the settings, everything exposured, figured out the shot that I wanted, figured out the shutter drag that I wanted, and I can't really remember what the settings were offhand.
It doesn't really matter.
It really
but,
don't
but
matter.
it worked.
But it worked.
But you set, yeah. So he had his camera mounted. He set his focus, and then got the lighting set so that it would trigger every. I think it was like every 2 or 3 seconds.
3 seconds, I think.
3
is what it was
seconds.
set to.
So then, as soon as Justin got to Main Street, and he lit up his lights.
Yep.
And then it would fire and fire and fire, and it was really cool. It turned out really really
Yeah,
cool.
it turned out really good because then what you get is you get that that look of him driving around, so the buildings are blurred, and so it looks like a Photoshop type of trick,
Well,
but
it's
it's
all in-
actually
it's all
not.
in camera.
We're just hanging out waiting for him to get back, and
Yeah.
then look at the photos and make a few adjustments, and
Do it
all right,
again.
take off, go do it again. And I think we made 2 trips, and
That's
we
all it
got
took.
we got some good shots out of it, and I was happy with what we had, and so.
Yeah.
I definitely want to try that again on another deal. I have some other ideas with it, but that was the first idea
I got a
that
million.
and that I've been wanting to
Right.
try, and so that was the night to try it, and
Yeah.
that's what we did. And it worked
And
out.
then we went out. We went on that one road. So we picked a road that Justin picked a road that was very very traveled very
Yep.
little.
Yeah, because my first thought was what I wanted to do was set up on Main Street.
Right.
I wanted the leading lines of the top lights on Main Street. If we ended up shooting low, which I did for a lot of the shots anyway, you'd have had a nice V where the lights would have came right towards them. It would have been, drawed interest in. I could have darkened them up. I even had NDs with me, so if I wanted to darken them that much more. But being harvest time in Iowa, there's corn trucks moving. There was more cars on Main Street that night for some reason than there's ever been before. So, I mean, all of 6 cars, I think, but, that's about 3 times more than what there typically is up there.
Right.
So that shot just wasn't going to work that night. So I didn't know where to go. And then everybody suggested, well, we can run up
Well,
there.
we talked about the cemetery road, and then Justin picked the one on the furthest north end of town, and it ended up working
worked out
good
perfect
because there was no traffic, and and I had just come down with some video stuff just to kind of
play around,
and I brought my messed up lens. My crusty lens. My crusty Tamron 24-70 that is just beat to hell.
Which the bride this weekend was so happy they had with you.
Yeah, so it was on my Snapchat, right? I'm like this crusty ass lens, and so like it's funny. So like everybody buys those Pro Mist filters that are beat up. Essentially they look like they ran a sandblaster across them. Well, that's what that lens looks like, because that lens is like 5 or 6 years old, and I am notoriously really shitty about putting lens caps back on. So my stuff gets kind of fucked up, but it gives it character.
Right.
Character. Yeah, that's what I get to call it now. I get to call it character. But the cool thing was, so then it flares really, really cool. And so I had done the one senior with it. I had off-camera flash and all this other stuff to do it, and we had all the lights in the Rembrandt fire station going, and it worked out really cool. And then I did it with another one, and it didn't work out as good because we didn't have all the lights going. So like it has to be dark. There's just certain ways that you have to set that up. Yep. So I know you got Justin all set up. We set up a couple 8200s behind the car.
Yep, one behind the car, and then another one
like
on
a deep dish beauty.
Yep,
a deep beauty dish with a grid on it just to light him up, so it didn't light anything else up.
Yep.
And then
and it saved having to Photoshop any type of stand or anything else out. We were able to get the distance out of it, set it back far enough, light him up, and yeah, it worked out great.
Well, the cool thing is you look at those images, and everybody, you look at, there's so much going on in that, and there's no Photoshop in any of it. Yeah, it is all in camera. And then like, because I had done that reel/TikTok video.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, all right, I just need you to do this. So we bought we had brought a bunch of 5-minute smoke bombs, white smoke bombs.
Yep.
And just
4 of them to be exact.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we burned through every one of them and it was nice because it just gave that one extra element of depth to it. And I think it just set everything off.
And then having it backlit. I mean, anytime you backlight,
and all the
rain, snow, smoke, anything like that.
Yeah, the strobes, everything looked really, really cool. And it was funny because Justin the whole time, he's like, oh, wish you had a better model. I'm like, dude,
you'll be happy with it.
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's all right. And no, he did a phenomenal job, and our fly on the go. You had everything kind of planned out, and I'm like, fuck it. In typical Tim fashion. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Let's go, And it just worked out really, really good. And I know you got some other shots after we took off, and I laughed because I was in the middle of editing. Mel goes, Jason's got his shots up already.
Yeah.
I'm like, shit. I was trying to get the reel edited because it was the first time that I had intentionally recorded to do a vertical video edit.
Okay.
To do it like for TikTok or Instagram or Facebook Reels because they prefer vertical.
Right.
Right. Because everybody's on their phone. So I started shooting it kind of like I normally would. But then I realized I have to make sure that I keep my subject in a certain part of the frame the entire time because I'm going to have
Otherwise
to punch.
It's not going to work.
Yeah, I have to punch into that. So figured that out, figured out my zooming in and all. I have to zoom into like 180, 190% to fill the frame there. And then just pulled a song. It just happened to be the right one.
The song worked perfect.
Yeah, the song worked good. The smoke worked good. The only thing I didn't like is the LEDs have a weird flicker. So if you slow it down, it looks really kind of funky. And because I'd slowed down a few clips. But beyond that, I mean, it turned out pretty good. So you nailed the photo side of things. I had done some photos. There's an elephant upstairs. I had done some photos on my 24-70. And then I did some on my 7200 that were clean because that lens is clean. Should I text them? Be like, keep it down. Hey, we're all in my we're in my basement, if that makes any sense to anybody who's tuning in that is not familiar. So we are in my house. We've got this studio set up down here, but so that's why any noises or dogs barking, whatever, that is just my life.
Background of Tim's life.
That's Tim's house. Tim's house. But I the different photos that I took, but there's nothing that I took that was any better than anything that you took. So it's just like, I just cranked out the video, you did the photos,
Yep.
and it was all just kind of in promotion for that gala. And I know,
Yep.
I think Justin made a post that all the tables were sold
Mm-hmm.
and the only thing left was just at the door. So,
So hopefully it's a really good turnout that night. I know last year was excellent turnout, and hopefully this year's bigger.
I think it's going to be a
So-
good time because I committed to going. I didn't realize Scotty was going.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, because Scotty will be there, Brady will be there.
Yeah, it's gonna be it's gonna be
yeah.
so many people that we work with.
Right.
'Cause I talked to Brady. Was it today or yesterday? About because he had shared that they're opening that venue up in Fort Dodge.
Okay.
So
So I had just had a meeting with him, and you know, I had asked him. I said, you know, is this something that we can talk about?
Right.
Because I plan on having, you know, a sit down, and he's going to be on a future episode, and
Yeah.
we're going to talk about that because the venue is going to be opening next year.
That's gonna be a cool place.
So
too.
it's going to be
from what
really
you
cool.
said on your last conversation with him or meeting with him on Sunday. It's gonna be really cool. So that'll be something to look forward to
So if any wedding couples are looking for a venue
next year.
for next summer,
Yeah, I think it's opening in June.
Stay tuned because there's going to be a really cool venue opening up in Fort
Is it the
Dodge
Larimar?
area. It's the Larimar.
It's the Larimar because I think they announced it yesterday
Mm-hmm.
that the Larimar is opening back up. So they're completely renovating it. And because I'd hit Brady up and I was like, hey, you want to add me to that vendor list? I'll hook you up with some stuff, right? And you know, and that's the way, you know. So for any creatives that are in the business or looking to expand their business, one of the easiest things that you can do is help out a venue,
Absolutely.
help out somewhere that you want to work. And we do a lot of stuff like the gala. That is a volunteer of our time. To kind of give back to the community and give back to the local Northwest Iowa
Right.
law enforcement.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing, and that's one of the things that we like to do. There's actually a lot of things that we give to that we don't talk about it.
We don't. I'm
I don't.
that type that you know.
I don't
if
do
you have,
it
if
for
you
if you have to talk about it.
It's not.
It's not for the right reason. You know, and but I just want everybody's as many people as possible to
right
the gala.
to know about it. It's a great cause. You know, law enforcement the last few years it seems have got a really bad rap. You know, there's good and bad in everything.
We got a pretty
And,
we have a pretty good group around here. Like I
Right.
have no problem with any of our law enforcement officers, and I can be kind of a pain in the ass. So
You've been pulled over a time or two.
they all know who I am. They all know my vehicle.
But
Yeah, so no, that's going to be pretty good. So that's coming up here in 2 weeks. So after that happens, and we'll talk about it probably again next week in our preparation for it. But you know, we'll share some photos and possibly some video clips. But the next thing that I want to talk about was something that we were involved in. It was in September.
I have no idea what the date was on it.
It was in September because it was the week of the Clay County Fair.
That would be correct. Yeah.
So Jason and I were hired by the Iowa ESGR, which is the employer support of the Garden Reserve. It is an organization that awards businesses for their support of their employees that are members of the United States National Guard and the Air Force, Air Reserve, and those branches, those type of branches of the military. And they hit us up a week and a half before they were given the city of Storm Lake their award, which they were number 1 of 5 in the country to get that award. And typically 3 years ago, it used to be given away at the Pentagon. And then after COVID, then it became more of a local thing. So they reached out to me and said, hey, can you be here this day, this time? Let us know how much it's going to be. We'll get you taken care of. So submitted all that. And so, you know, we got hired to go do that. And we got there early. I think we were the first, I guess, news organization to get there. Because there was KTIV, there was newspapers, there was a lot of things because it was a 3-star general that was coming. Kim Reynolds was coming. And, you know, I know there's a lot of political hyperization, whatever you want to call it right now. I don't care. This was all about the employees and the guard, you know, the Guard and Reserve people. So, but it was just kind of cool to be able to go and be a part of
a part of it. Yeah, I've never experienced anything on that level,
Right.
and it was neat to, you know, just
Well, we were
couple.
we were the crew with the smallest cameras. So because I don't shoot on the big TV cameras.
Mm-hmm.
I don't shoot on big camcorders. And so we were hired to photograph it and film it.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went in, we did our job. We brought in lighting.
Right.
You know, I went up, checked it, and said, "Hey, let's bring in lighting because lighting is one of the biggest things that we do,
Mm-hmm.
especially in video production,
Mm-hmm.
because it just gives those images what they need,
Mm-hmm.
right?"
And it's something we're constantly working on
We're
and trying to
always
improve. So
working on it.
I was watching, lighting videos before I even came up here.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've been doing all day.
So, but we got there. I went up, checked it out, got the lighting set up. We were all set up, and then everybody else showed up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of cool because I was like, "How y'all like my lights?" It's good stuff, because it
adds
it
to
lit the
it.
podium and did all this other stuff. We got all of our audio stuff hooked up
Mm-hmm.
because they just take a big microphone and they set it up there. Well, I had it. I mean, I got lav mics and I got the whole thing because I want that extra level of professionalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we filmed it.
Mm-hmm.
We filmed it because you were checking cameras for me too.
Mm-hmm.
You photographed it,
Mm-hmm.
and then we had it all edited and delivered that night.
Yeah, it was
We
because
made sure that
we talked about like this. We're treating this like a hot news topic.
Right.
Like it's going. The second we get home, it's getting worked on.
I missed
and it's
the
gonna get done.
Vanilla Ice concert.
So you missed the Vanilla Ice concert.
I so had FOMO. All my friends are at the Vanilla Ice concert, and I'm like, I'm editing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was.
I didn't.
It was okay.
I didn't miss the
I know
Vanilla
you
Ice
didn't miss the
concert.
Vanilla Ice concert. But after that, about a month later, I got an email that we had been nominated for an award.
Mm-hmm.
So I get this email. Hey, we were so impressed by what you did, how you did it, that we put.
Let's see. I can even pull up that email. Probably.
Yeah, because I'd send it to you.
You'd send it to
You
me.
pull that up. I'm going to reset this camera.
Sounds good. We have plenty of long conversations because it's back here a ways.
I can just Google search it. It doesn't matter. But anyway, so it just said that we were nominated.
Here it is, right here. It said, "Good morning, Tim. Thank you so much for all you did for our ESGR presentation of the Freedom Award for Storm Lake Police Department. The videos and pictures turned out really well. Miss Cody was so impressed with your company and you that she submitted you and your company for a 7 Seals Award. This is one of the highest that a non-military associated company or organization can receive, and I hope you get it."
Yeah. So we went to Spencer the other day. And I'd sent that to you. I'm like, dude, we got nominated. We're like,
Yeah, I was like, that is so cool.
It was cool, like just to be nominated. And
just for the recognition.
just for the
alone.
recognition. So I went to Spencer the other day and I got UPS stickers on my door. I don't get mail at studio.
Right.
And if they do, they deliver it to State Farm and then they just throw it in there. And so I call UPS. Mel and Lindsay run out there and comes back and I go, "Well, who's it from?" I'm on the phone with UPS. I'm like, "Who's it from?" And Mel had to sign like 3 or 4 different things
Yeah,
to
that's
get
what she
this.
said, yeah.
And so she gets back and I'm like, "Oh, I know what it is. Like it's from the ESGR, right?" So this is actually from the Department of Defense. So I really wish they would have put your name on it because without you, it wouldn't have been possible. But, right here, it's presented to Tim Fox, TFC Photography and Video for meritorious leadership and initiative in support of the men and women who serve America and the National Guard and Reserve. So we got a 7 Seals Award from the United States Department of Defense. So
Pretty cool.
that is pretty cool. And, it's not something that everybody gets.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, to be awarded that is pretty cool. And I haven't put it on social at all. Well, let me back up. I put it on Snapchat, and
Yeah,
so
because I tried to send it to my parents, and they're like, "Well, we're not friends
can't
with
see
Tim
it,
on there, so
right?
they can't see it."
So I did take some photos of it, and you and I will end up probably at some point this week or next week. I'll make Melanie point a camera at us and take a photo. And we'll make a post out of that. Either that or we can do this here. We'll
do a screenshot.
Yeah, we're gonna do a screenshot
With our wine
here.
in the
Let's
background.
push our wine behind it. So do that, and then we're just gonna go like this, and then we're good.
All right. And Tim's gonna rob that frame out.
Yep,
and
yeah, I will
call her a
pull
day.
that frame, but But yeah, so that was really, really cool. And
It was unexpected.
it was unexpected, and it was, so I don't want to say that, we went above and beyond, because we treat every client as the most important client.
Right.
And I think that is what helps set us apart from a lot of people, that we just, I want everybody to be happy.
Right.
And I don't know, it's just cool. It's just really cool. Like I don't know, there's I'm, I'm fucking actually kind of speechless, but like and that's crazy for Tim, right? It's just weird. Like I didn't 6.5 years ago, like I never thought that something like this. I'm like,
Right.
and I'm going, fuck. Are we going to the Pentagon next year? Right? I mean, that would be really cool.
Right.
Or we'll just keep supporting him around here, and it's just something that is just really flipping cool.
Right. Yeah. Because you hear of different awards and stuff like that. You never think that you're ever going to be, awarded for something. Especially photo or video and I've always got this big deal in the back of my head. How cool would it be to win a Pulitzer Prize?
Right.
And for photography and stuff like that. I know the type of photography that it takes to get stuff like that. And, so, I mean, that's such a huge ambition to even think, that you'd ever get something like that. But, this as well is, it's not something that's just handed out. So.
No, it's kind of cool. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of blown away by it, and I don't know. I was really surprised. Like when I got that email, I was like, wow. And I'm like, cool. We just, in the words of my late father, before he passed, one of his things to me was like, he's like, I don't know how you're doing or what you're doing, but you just keep doing it.
Keep doing it.
Because whatever the fuck it is working. And, so it's just been one step after another, and that's kind of like we talked about last week, just them just crawling up that mountain. But
and you're gonna hit roadblocks along the way. Each of us have done it. We continue to do it, but it's that what's next.
Yep.
What's next? When you complete that next goal, it's not like, oh well, someday I want to be here. We have them big ambitions or something like that, but we're also setting them short-term goals. Is I want to learn this. I want to learn this. My next goal is start learning video,
right,
and stuff like that. But it's some little steps, and screw the rest of it.
Right.
Like what's next, and just making them little steps.
Yeah, I did like little steps. I photographed a couple and their dogs tonight. Like they basically hired me to photograph their dogs and take some pictures of them. Coolest thing.
Right.
I never thought I'd get to go hang out with dogs,
right?
Watch them throw frisbees and, photograph it.
Yeah, like I've told you before, I'm like, I can't believe people are willing to pay us to do what we get to do.
Right.
Like, I mean, for the most part, we're having a good time.
Look at Saturday.
It was a blast.
Saturday was so much fun.
That day. I don't think that day could have went much better. Like. When you start talking the type of weather that we had on Saturday for this time of year in Iowa,
right,
is rare enough.
81, 82
and then,
degrees.
We had an amazing couple. The DJ, once again, I know we've been talking DJs and, over and over and over again, right, but, the DJ can make or break a day. We've been on a roll with them.
We've had an amazing run with DJs lately. And Alex from Noda, like, for him to be like the end of main wedding season and to end with Alex. And I have known Alex for 2 or 3 years. I want to say it must've been 2020. I did a wedding show with him in Denison and I'd met him there and I saw his level of professionalism just with his equipment, how he had it set up and how he spoke. And so we just kept in touch. Like I've been to his house, we've had lunch together, but we have never worked a wedding together.
Right.
And I guess I had forgotten that I had recommended him to the couple because I'm like, he's close, he's going to work, because I go through down the line. I'm like, I have these 3. These are my 3. These are my 3 people.
Yep.
And now it's 4. I have 4 people on there now. And I said, So find the one you like and book any of them because they're all going to take very good care of
Right.
you. And so Alex won that coin toss with the couple, you know, and so we're going through the pre-wedding stuff, and she says, "Yep, Nota's going to be there." And I'm like, "Oh!" So I messaged Alex, or no, it wasn't even that. She didn't even say that. He had messaged me. He's like, "Hey, can I get some pictures to put on my TV?"
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "Shit, you're my DJ." And he's like, "Yes." I'm like, "Wait."
Right.
Right. I just was so excited to work with him because I knew that he would deliver quality enough, but he went so far above.
Oh yeah, he was great.
His mixing was phenomenal. Like he kept them cranking, and we had so much fun. And I don't know how many selfies that he and I got together.
I got a picture of you too, and I've got a picture of him by himself, and so I want to make sure he gets that, for his social media use.
Yep.
And that's one thing that we try to do, especially if we have a DJ or something like that we like. And same thing with the bus company.
Right.
Well,
I have to get him his images.
He reached out and said, "Hey, I've been asking 4 different photographers to hook me up with some images, and nobody's submitted him anything, so we will make sure that
you'll like what he texted me this morning, because he was asking about it because we talked the other day. So that's what he asked me, the very bottom one. It's inappropriate,
so we'll leave that one out.
Yeah, but I said, yeah, I got some. Now it's really kind of hard because I'm focused on my wedding party, making sure they're having a good time, and the bus driver Daniel was amazing, because he's like, okay,
we've had him before.
Yeah, we had him with Ron and Ashley in June, and same bus with Tanner, and so the cool thing was that I got Daniel's number. He's like, okay. Because at that time we had to schedule.
I'm gonna move this down.
Okay,
just
that's
since
a
we got
idea.
wine,
right? So at that point with Daniel, like it was just we had to schedule. We had to be back at Swiss Acres at X time, and they wanted to go. So we ended up going to Captain's in the Ritz. So at that point we just went, okay, so we need to be out of here at this time. Go to the Ritz for this long, get some doc pictures real quick, and then head back up to Swiss Acres. So text Daniel. Okay, 4:40, we're leaving Captain's, or we're getting on the bus at Captain's. 4:39, bus pulls up, right?
Yep.
Just jump on, go. And it was funny because we went to the Ritz the last time we had the bus, because he's like, it's going to suck to park. I said, park up top. He's like, that's right. That's where we parked last time. It's, yep. So parked up there, and then, he had the bus actually turn and stuff. So when we went up, it was just jump on and roll.
Yep.
So that was really, really awesome. And then Tanner and Chris had bought 2 more buses. They bought the Boji limousine, or Boji. I don't know. They have the I don't want to call them the short bus, but they're the short bus ones. So leather seats, curvy. I mean, they're not the school bus. You can't put 35 people from a wedding in it, but you can put like a bachelor party, bachelorette party. Yep. Or just any type of group that you want to. So, but yeah, well, I don't know if he has a website, but he does have Facebook, so maybe I'll throw a link down in the description for that too.
Yeah, because we got to start adding some different links for some different groups.
But I've been trying to do that on all the YouTube stuff. So like we'll have Nota's link. We will have Tanner's with his buses, and then I know there's a Facebook event, but I don't know anything else for the gala. But the gala is probably not going to go in there just because it's an event, so it'll be here and over. Unless they end up with having a website. But
we'll probably share it on our Facebook page or something like that, just so anybody that's looking for any more information can definitely find it on our Facebook page. So.
For sure. So I'm actually kind of excited for Thursday. So 2 nights from now, to go get together at Chris's.
I keep forgetting about that.
Right, because it's on the calendar, and you're just trying to get through. Because I know you just delivered one wedding today, and that I cannot spell to save my. Jason's like, you have stuff typed wrong. Everywhere, and because like all the names kind of run together. And as much as I love all my couples, sometimes Brett becomes Kurt, and all this other stuff. Because he texted me, he's like, what? I got Sarah and Kurt. I got Zach and Ellie, and then I got Sarah and Kurt. I'm like, Kurt, that's Brett. He's like, well, you got it typed wrong. And then with Alex and Erica's. I was calling him Luke the whole time during their engagement session. So when I delivered their engagement photos, it legit said Erica and Luke. Because he looked like Luke Combs.
Yeah. for sure.
He looks like Luke Combs. If he grew
If
that,
he had the big old
if he had
bushy
the beard, yeah,
he'd
he'd look like Luke Combs. But so they had a good chuckle about it. And they never even said anything to me about it
Right, yeah.
until the day of the wedding.
The day of the wedding.
They're like, "Yeah, you had that wrong." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!" Right? Okay, all right, whatever. But and it's really good that I can have that type of relationship with all of our clients, and because most of our clients, I end up Facebook friends with, and there's so many people, and sometimes it's the area where the photographers are out of. Like there's certain areas that I'll move past that, but their clients are not their friends; they're their clients. I'm like, fuck that. Like, I want a big old circle, right? I mean, I have my inner circle of friends, but I want when I see my bride and groom in public, what's up?
Right.
How the hell are you guys doing? It is so great to see you.
Because them relationships turning into more of a relationship.
They're lifelong
clients.
Yep. And they're lifelong friends.
So you're caring what happens. So if they're having a kid or anything like that, hey, if you need some images, let me know, and we can do that. And so you can stay up to date on what's going on in their life. Or something bad happens. Somebody passes away or whatever.
Right.
You can reach out to them and say, hey, I'm still here. Or
we've done that with images. Grandpa's passed, so I dig through and I find the one, and sometimes I have to extract an image out and kind of rebuild everything so they have like the obituary picture which is an unfortunate part of what we do, but it's part of those things that we do.
But one other thing you've also done too is video record conversations and stories, and
that's I've done that with so far. I've done that with 2 people that are no longer here. So, but I want everybody to be family, and that's that's where we are going. We got that. That turned really dark.
Yeah, we started talking about
Jason.
We started talking about our Thursday, and then we kind of took a left turn.
Yeah, we took a left turn to Albuquerque. My God, but no, it'll be fun to get together with Chris and Derek,
yeah,
because we saw each other. We saw everybody at the fair, and then we have not gotten together since January.
Yeah.
So it's been a crazy year. We're gonna do this every month, and then here we are 10 months later.
Well, when we first met Derek, you knew him more than I did, but you'd never met him then.
Right.
And we went up and met him up in Lake Okoboji, and I think that was in January or something. We froze our tails off that night.
Yeah, because we were photographing on the lake that night.
On the ice. So
yeah, our toes were cold.
I was froze. By the time I left, I think it took me the whole hour home to get warm. And
you had some cool pictures out of it.
Yeah, it turned out really good. We did some steel wool stuff.
Wool.
Derek at that time was shooting a lot of night scenes and so that night we met him, and then we went out again. I think it was that spring because we went out and we photographed that barn.
To the barn, yeah.
So with him and a lot of his family and friends that he knew, and Lisa.
Well, Chris was there.
Chris was
there.
His
mom was there. His mom Lisa was there. His brother wasn't there, was he? That whole damn family's just super talented. It's unreal.
They all show up with cameras and everything else.
They have that Star Tracker thing.
Yep.
So then there's no light trails, and so you can go like deep space.
Right, because you're doing super long exposures, and when you're doing that with any normal camera, you're using what's called the 500 rule. So depending on what millimeter of lens you do, you're dividing, what is it, by 500. And
I have no idea what he's talking about.
So anything beyond that, now you're running into, you start getting tails on your stars.
I understand what those are.
So with that star tracker, they can go hours.
I know that it'll follow the same thing.
Yep. So once they pick a spot,
and they can go really, so it'll pull in so much more from deep space type of thing.
Yep.
With the light stuff.
Yeah, because they're doing, you can do 4-6 hour long exposures, or, I've never done it. I kind of understand like what they're doing, but That's on a whole different level. That
Well, it's kind of like, so I'm like that, just like I was when we were doing the photos with Lyman.
oh, okay.
I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And Jason's like, hold on, no, I gotta try. Oh no, I gotta just, and I'm just like, nah, I'm good.
You're like, I got it. We're good.
Yeah, I got what I need, right? But no, that's pretty cool. It's pretty good. So it's looking like it's a good week. It is my last busy week. I've got quite a few sessions in November right now, but nothing's like packed up during the week. So my sister hit me up today. She's like, hey, I need you in Omaha. I need some stuff. So that's pretty cool. I called her. I actually called her for another thing. I said, just got your text message, but I'm calling you on a completely unrelated topic. I said, I got somebody here with something that we want to talk about. So we talked over that, and I said, look at your calendar, look at the next 2 weeks during the week, and I can swing down to Omaha and take care of you. But yeah, I'm looking somewhat forward to winter, to maybe trying out some things. If Nikon could do me a favor and get my camera back to me that I broke.
Like ASAP.
Yeah, because so like the dogs that I did tonight, the one is a border collie mix, and he's the frisbeest catching his dog.
Oh, that'd be fun.
So I told him, I said, look, I would love to photograph your dog some more. So when I get my Z9 back, I would like to go get him leaping.
Right.
So he's like, I go, no cost to you, no nothing. I just want to come photograph your dog. And I said, if you're cool with it, I'll bring my two Aussies with, because his dog is a border. So he understands how they use their bodies to herd and stuff like it. Cause I was actually photographing him and his wife, and his dog is circling me.
Yeah.
And I was like, that dog is keeping you away from them. He's circling you because I wasn't paying attention. My mind is set on what I'm doing. But yeah, so I told him, I said, well, as soon as that Z9 comes back, just because it focuses faster and it shoots faster.
Yep.
Because I tried with the Z6
It just didn't keep
up. Because the dog, he did so much running at me. And the fast, like if I had my D500, it would do okay.
Right.
But the Z9, because I tried it with my dogs, works really, really good.
Right.
It's not 100% hit rate. It's probably about 50%.
Right.
But it's still better than 1%, which is about what I was getting today.
But the D9, like that's like it's bread and butter. Like
Z.
Yeah.
It's not D. Be the D6.
Whatever it is.
Whatever.
Nikon. Super fast.
Listen, fanboy. Hey, at least my cameras take less than a half a second to focus, like your medium formats.
Mine don't. I cuss my cameras so many times, and because it just sits there and just haunts back and forth, and then sometimes you got to turn it at the ground, hit the focus at the ground, and restart it. And so I mean,
it's not just a Fuji
like
thing.
We've talked before,
That's
when
a
it's
Nikon thing too.
When gear is not, you don't get everything all rolled up in one deal, and it's an unfortunate thing that it's not, but that's kind of why you want to, when you start investing in the higher dollar cameras, you want to know what you're getting and what you want. And people just, I need a better camera, I need to get another camera. Well, what do you need that other camera for?
Right.
And then, well, to take better pictures. No, you don't need that camera,
My camera takes good pictures. My camera takes good pictures. So that'll be a topic coming up this winter.
Right.
My camera takes good pictures. And you can get the best camera in the world and you can put a shitty piece of glass on it and your pictures don't improve. So many people think that the camera itself is what makes the pictures. It's the person in the glass. And there's a big thing about the glass.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. You see a photographer pick up a new camera. They're like, I got this new camera. But you have a kit lens on it. And now, don't get me wrong. Kit lens. These are all cheap lenses. These are all for the Z30.
Right.
And that's on a Z6. These are both Z30s. And they were good for that because we're properly lit. We're at f6.3. We have all the lighting and we're like a 50th on the shutter speed for the 180 roll for videography, right? Yep. So it doesn't matter on these ones.
But when you start talking portraiture, you need fast glass.
A little bit of fast glass, an f4. If
you're f4 on a medium format,
right,
not too bad. You're at f4 on a large format, that's super fast.
You can shoot a 5.6 and make it look good. but you better be on a long lens. You
Yeah,
shoot a
you
5.6
get
on a 24. Everything
everything's
is
going
in
to be sharp.
focus.
And that's why a lot of street photographers like that 24, is that F8 and be there kind of thing, that old
Oh yeah,
photojournalism
yeah,
type of a deal. Because, you know, there's such that large gap when you set that, especially at an F8 aperture. You set
right.
that focus, you can set that thing in the middle, and there's a 10-foot gap in there that's going to be either in focus or acceptably sharp.
Acceptably sharp. That's pretty good. But cool. Well, we should have lots of updates from Thursday. As of right now, we're planning on recording.
Yeah, recording. I don't know where that conversation's going to go. I have some directions to kind of steer it in.
I hope you have notes because I do.
I have a few questions I want to ask everybody. I don't want to give that question out ahead of time because I don't really want anybody to,
I'd like to study.
So I know you would, but you're not going to.
I'm not going to study. Estudiar mucho.
Right. But no, we'll kind of steer that in a certain direction, and I don't know if this video is coming out tonight, tomorrow, or anything like that. Depends on how Tim feels.
I still have to edit my photos from today.
But
so we'll see. We'll see what Melanie says.
We'll see how that goes. Maybe we'll throw out a question or something on Facebook before this video even comes out.
Nobody's going to come up with any questions.
Probably not.
You guys have been letting us down.
We're getting plenty of views.
We're getting views.
But,
just hit me.
We need some questions.
You can be like, "What is Tim's skincare routine?" Washcloth, water, take a shower.
That's about it.
Head, hair, body wash and conditioner.
and just be working all the time.
Right. Yep. Pretty much. So, but cool. We'll keep it short and sweet today. I think that's probably that's less than an hour. We did pretty good today.
That'll be our shortest one, I think.
It is going to be the shortest one, but
that's okay. We're recording another one yet this week. And, our conversation will continue after we, shut this down anyway, like it typically does. But it's been a good wedding season, and I've enjoyed working with you and Mel, and the clients that you have.
You've enjoyed working with Mel.
You're not so bad. I can ignore you, so that's pretty easy for me to do.
You both usually do.
So give you that side eye when you're like, Jason, like,
what?
I got it.
I already got it. Hey, did you get
Did you get this?
Dude, I've already got it. Look at Mel. Mel's like, Jason's in my way. I'm like, just kick him. And Jason's like, Tim's in my fucking way.
Right. I've got so many photos with you in the middle of it. So sometimes now I just leave it in there. So some of them make it. So I've got some of you, some action shots.
If the damn Fuji's had focused faster, because I wait. I'm like, I'm cutting, and as soon as I step, chunk.
Right. But sometimes it's me, nitpicking that image, and it's moving things around, and like, oh, I'm waiting for them to hit right in this spot. I step right in and then about that time, it's like, and it's like, all right.
I got to show you from their first dance on Saturday. Did you catch that movement of mine?
Yes, I meant to mention that
like,
too.
It was perfect. Like the one of the groomsmen, he was like,
I see it because he was even like, yes. And I'm like, videography. But
I looked at it. It is perfect.
But there was even some moves like earlier, like I'm starting to recognize different video movements and stuff like that, and trying to wrap my head around because. Technically, I do video movements already,
right?
Like when I'm moving, but I am doing them to try to frame that up for that next frame.
Well, let's get you recording video.
So now I just need to hit the button and just keep it
because we could have sent
looping.
you to other weddings.
Yeah, I turned down one that would have paid very, very well and got some nice equipment, but like I told you, then, I didn't want to screw that up. Because I like the possibility of being able to shoot that in the future,
right?
Rather than burning that bridge and
being the a-hole that screwed it up,
for X amount of money,
right?
And I can let one go for the future being, and I never want to be the one that ruins somebody else's.
Well, it was covered. So it all worked out. But cool. Well, I guess we will see everybody. It won't be on Thursday because it won't be edited, but So we will see everybody on our Thursday video, which will be up probably on Friday at some point, and that should involve Chris and Derek as well.
Right.
Up there in Spencer. So
Yeah.
with that said, my name is Tim,
I'm Jason.
and this is Exposed.
See ya.
Deuces. Hashtag deuce.
Hashtag.
Hashtag deuce. Next time we should start with a couple glasses of wine.
Get a little loose beforehand.
Oh, shit. I love you all. We'll see you next time.
At least you're not drinking Patron.